today's short khutbah, I want to shed some light on perhaps the greatest disease of the heart. And our scholars have called it the mother of all diseases, or the roots of all diseases of the heart. This is the fundamental disease. The heart has many diseases. Just like in the human realm, in the physical realm, the heart can have many diseases. But there is one disease that is really and truly the mother of all diseases. It is the cornerstone from which all other diseases come out. And in Arabic it is called qaswatul qalb. In English, the hardness of the heart. This disease of hardening the heart becoming hard, because you see, the heart of the believer, the Quran describes it as soft. The Quran describes it as soft. Allah tells us in the Quran that the believers, their hearts, when Allah is mentioned, it trembles. The believers are those, when they listen to the Quran, they cry. The believers are those, they have a tender and merciful heart. The believers are those whose iman goes up in the heart. All of this is linked to the heart in the Quran. So the hearts of the believers are gentle. The hearts of the believers are soft. The hearts of the believers are tender. And the opposite of this is the hard heart, the qaswatul qalb. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions qaswatul qalb in the Quran in a number of verses. Of them is Surah Baqarah, when Allah Azza wa Jal describes the Bani Israel, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did perhaps one of the greatest miracles, and He resurrected a dead man in front of their eyes. This is the story of the calf, when Musa sacrificed the calf and he hit the calf, and the dead man, the murdered man, rose up and he said, so and so murdered me. You all know the story. After this, what does Allah say? The very next verse, ثُمَّ قَسَتْ قُلُوبُكُم مِّن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ. After you saw all of this, your hearts became hard. ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي كالحجارة أو أشد قسوة. Your hearts were even harder than rocks, solid rocks. Allah is describing the spiritual heart as being harder than a physical rock. And then Allah says, no, it was even harder than a rock. أو أشد قسوة. You see, the problem of the hardness of the heart is that the hardness of the heart can appear even with an Islamic environment, even being around the Prophet, even seeing the ayat and the miracles of Allah, and yet still the hardness of the heart can occur. And no doubt, therefore, this is a very, very dangerous disease. The final symptom of the hardness of the heart is that the one whose heart is hard, not only does he habitually commit sins, sins become a lifestyle for him, even worse, there is no conscience, no guilt. He doesn't feel anything. So what? So the sins are there. But even worse than committing sins, and I say this very frankly, even worse than the sin itself is that you commit a sin and you really just don't care that you just did a sin. Because the sinner who is repentant, there's hope for him. The sinner who's guilty, inshallah, there's light at the end of the tunnel. But the sinner who doesn't even realize, who doesn't even care he's committing a sin, there is no doubt that this is of the worst symptoms of the hardness of the heart. And perhaps now we see why the hardness of the heart is the mother of all diseases. It is, to be again in a modern vernacular, in a modern, if you like, equivalent, the hardness of the heart is the AIDS of all diseases. All other diseases, it's literally your autoimmune deficiency literally becomes shut down. That every other disease of the heart is now open prey for your heart. There are many diseases of the heart. Arrogance is one of them, right? Feeling a sense of superiority is one of them. Being jealous is one of them. But you see, when you have the hardness of the heart, all of the other diseases, it's as if your heart is saying, come, ta'al, enter. There's no way to prevent you. There's no blockage. It is literally the AIDS of the spiritual body, and that is to have a hard heart.